amazing. 14, 15 people here already. Damn, I'm so impressed, guys. So good to see you all here. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode. I just realized this is, what was that? This is tonight our 17th episode. I was wondering before, because Mac here, our special guest tonight, he asked me like, okay, how long do you do that? And I was like, well, 10 times or something. And Joe just told me like 17 times now. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in, for being here with us tonight. I'm so very blessed to have MACx3D here on this stream tonight, because this is a topic I really wanted to talk about like for months now. Like, how is it? Like, imagine, guys, you guys are streamers here as well, right? So imagine you build up a community for so long. You work like thousands of hours, and then from one night to the other, everything is gone. Everything. What would you do? So this is one thing we will talk about tonight. Welcome, Mac. Welcome, Mac, to our stream here. Yeah, we have to do this. We decided together because we are nervous. We are going for a little drink. Wait, where is it? So score to you guys. I hope you have something for you as well.
My viewers are already tearing into me. They're hilarious. So first off, I just want to say hi to my community that's here supporting, because we're not normally on Twitch. Well, some of them are. Like Professor Pascal, he actually streams on Twitch, but most of my people are on Facebook or former Mixer. So seeing them here in mass is awesome. It makes my heart swell. It's awesome.
Thank you guys for being here, for the support. Really, much appreciated.
Yeah, we got Jack, Swan, and Pascal so far. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, tell me, who are your guys here? Because I see
so,
definitely
Jack Ahoy. Jack Ahoy is one of my regulars. We rock Battlefield regularly all the time. Like we played just the other night. Swant, a longtime supporter of my stream and just all-around funny guy. And then Pascal is actually my German friend I was telling you about.
Pascal.
He moved to the U.S. years ago, and I met him when I streamed on Twitch like 8 years ago, and we've been friends ever since. So, anyway, yeah, I mean, I've met a lot of people through my stream that I consider some of my best friends. So,
amazing.
It's interesting. Yep.
It's good to have friends who support you like all the time, you know. Also, Simon, Sunny, thank you all for joining up here. Hey, Mitch is here. Thank you so much, Mitch, for joining in, man. Thank you for the follow, by the way, Jack. Thank you so much appreciated. Professor Pascal, yeah, exactly. You talked about him. Amazing, guys. So, how about we just dig in? Because I really would start to dig in with you with the whole Mixer topic. Can you still remember the day that this tweet, you know, came out and basically changed everything when you knew, okay, Mixer was shut down at the 22nd? By the way, I think it was the 22nd of July when they said they wanted to shut down, right? No, they shut down at the 22nd, the other way around.
But a month before they announced on Twitter that they were going to be done. Now, to kind of like talk about that, though, you need to rewind actually just a couple days before that.
Please.
Now, I don't think this is the main reason Mixer went down, but I think it was like the final, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back. Does that make sense? Like, so Mixer, let's take it a little bit further back, rewind a little bit. So I've been with Mixer since they were called Beam. Okay. Beam was a startup company ran by a couple of guys making a stream site in their garage, basically. And they made some proprietary technology. One was called FTL, which means faster than light. Any Mixer people know what that is. It allowed for sub-second delays on the stream, which made it very fun and easy to interact with people. They could type, I could see it, I could respond. It was very quick. There was no delays. It was awesome. Now, Microsoft saw this, they bought them up, and they turned them into Mixer. A lot of people were hesitant about that, but they were excited. And just after Beam became Mixer, I'd say about 6 months after is when I became a partner. I had about 4,000 followers, and I was doing really good. I was growing, doing the best I could, you know. And, over the next couple of years, we grew and we got up to 10,000 plus followers. And then just a couple days before the announcement of Mixer going up, being done, there was a huge, let's just call it a debacle. You guys remember Me Too. It's still a thing. Me Too movement is a big thing. And a few streamers that were very prominent, big streamers in the Mixer scene were outed as predators. That was happening on Twitch as well. There was a bunch of developers being outed the weeks before, but there was a huge wave hitting Mixer, and a bunch of very brave women came forward and, outed some predators on the site. And some of them were some of the biggest streamers on the site. So it was kind of shocking to see that there was this culture kind of just festering in the background on Mixer. And a bunch of the partners just basically said, we're not going to stream unless you guys, A, get rid of these people, and B, set up a system of accountability, because this is disgusting. Mm-hmm. And so they said, okay, we're going to change, and we're going to have, we're going to make things better for the future. And then 24 hours later, they tweeted that they were done. So they actually publicly tweeted the day before saying, we are going to, we're going to work to make things better. We agree with these ladies, and, we're going to, try to make the site a more inviting, open place, and blah, blah, blah. And then 24 hours later, they announced that they were done. So it was kind of just an empty promise. And it was sad, really, to see that, instead of dealing with the problem, Microsoft just shuttered it. Now, I don't think that was the main reason they shut down. There was a lot of reasons. And Microsoft has a history of buying up hardware and software and running it into the ground, or developing something new and not really sticking with it as long as they need to. I could name off tons of examples. So you got the Windows Phone, right? They maybe made it for 2-3 years and they gave up on it. You have the Zune, 2 years. The Microsoft Fitbit or Fitband. There's so many products out there that Microsoft over the years, they'll buy into a company, they'll invest a ton of money into it, and then they're not seeing the results they want, they get rid of it. And Mixer was just the one on the chopping block. They invested a ton of money into Mixer, getting it out there in all the wrong places. They didn't advertise Mixer. They didn't advertise Mixer at all. No one really knew about it. It was on their Xboxes and no one knew about it. It was not really integrated with Windows. No one knew about Mixer, and it was up to the streamers to advertise it. And for years, the partners and the base streamers were driving traffic to that site by themselves. Mm-hmm. And then someone up in corporate got this big idea. They're like, hey, if we can bring over some big streamers, some big names, that'll bring over lots of viewership, right? Instead of actually working with their talent and developing their existing talent, turning them into ninjas and of their own, they went out and recruited existing talent in the market, which, first off, it's on paper, it looks like a great idea. But in all actuality, Mixer was a small company and they couldn't afford something like that. They spent millions and millions of dollars recruiting, Ninja, Gothalion, Shroud, all these streamers on these contracts that they didn't even finish. They had to pay them out.
They paid a lot of money.
They paid them out. Yeah. And got rid of them so they could end Mixer early because it cost too much. So there was a lot of different things that kind of weighed into it. But I think, the sexual allegations and the top Mixer streamers, the huge lead weight around Mixer's neck that was the talent that wasn't bringing in millions of views, but only thousands. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? For millions of dollars, it just wasn't a good trade. And also really poor management staff that was sexist, racist, didn't listen to their streamers, treated them like slaves. And there's actually videos and documentation to back this up. So me just saying that isn't something I say lightly. Mixer, Microsoft pulled the plug, yanked the rug out from under us, and we just basically had to figure out what to do. So now that you're caught up with kind of what happened and led up to that point, so we're in June now, right? We get the tweet. Many Mixer streamers just stopped streaming. Partners, streamers, they just gave up. They were done. And that was, it was sad seeing many of my family members, my community, people who I'd grown with just give up on streaming in general because, what do you do when the place you call home just disappears?
Well, not only that, I mean, thousands lost their job. It's not like
it's not just a hobby, it's a job. Yeah, like my income was starting to become that. It was my side income becoming my primary income, and it was gone overnight. So my family struggled tremendously from this. And I'll dive into that more, but the thing is Microsoft, they really screwed over Mixer, and in no easy way, shape, or form, I feel like a lot of the staff didn't even know what was going on until it happened. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So honestly, it really hurt to be stabbed in the back from Microsoft. Like, part of me doesn't even want to buy the new Xbox because of it, Like, I just feel like abandoned and betrayed. And I was left with an option. I could go back to Twitch, which I'd been at Twitch before I went to Beam. And I left Twitch for Beam because I didn't really, no offense to you guys, but I didn't really find the community I was hoping for on Twitch. No offense to people who love Twitch.
I think it's not about loving or not loving. I mean, at the end, it doesn't matter which platform you're on, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But I honestly, I just never felt at home on Twitch, and I just went where I felt better. And that was Beam, Mixer, and now Facebook Gaming. So at first, there was a lot of stress, a lot of anger, a lot of sadness and doubt. And then Facebook reached out to a lot of people on the Mixer platform, the partners, and said, hey, we'd like to make you partners over here. And, I remember this very vividly because it was kind of sad, and it was also upsetting because we had people in a Discord call, and I probably shouldn't talk about this, but who cares? I'm not under some Mixer NDA anymore. So there was a Discord call with a bunch of Mixer partners, right? And there was Facebook staff, and they were talking to us in the Mixer Discord. Mixer arranged this for us. And the Facebook staff were telling us about this program where we could come over and sign up with them and keep a partnership. They were offering us a lot. And every partner in there was just like, F this, F Facebook, Facebook bad, Facebook this. Very few amount of people came over. I mean, there was 10, 15,000 partners on Mixer. I'm sure about a third of those quit. And then out of the rest, maybe 500. Go ahead.
Well, wasn't, as I wrote, I can't remember which article it was, but I think what I did read was that the whole situation looked like it was a buyout deal between Facebook at the end and Mixer. Like, it wasn't. No?
So Facebook didn't buy them out at all. Facebook didn't get any technology. They didn't get any software. They didn't get anything.
Yeah, but
they offered a life raft.
Yeah.
Let me finish my point here. They offered a life raft to the existing streamers that were affiliated and partnered. Okay. That's all they did, really. They said, hey, if you would like to move your content over here, we'll allow you to start monetizing or be partnered right away. And they offered some people signing bonuses and some other things, you know what I mean? But overall, they didn't get it wasn't a buyout. And Facebook and Mixer were very, very adamant about this. All Facebook did was throw a life raft to the streamers and give them an option.
Okay.
So Twitch wasn't doing anything for these people. YouTube wasn't doing anything for these people. Facebook just said, hey, if you guys want to come here, you're more than welcome. We'll transfer your partnerships. We'll transfer your embers, your affiliation, so you can start monetizing right away. And it was, I think a very high class move on their part. For me as a streamer, I was thrilled to know that I could keep my partnership, something I worked really hard for, worked years for, and then it was gone. There was no guarantee me going to Twitch and started streaming right away that I'd be able to transfer my partnership. In fact, Twitch only transferred maybe 50 to 100 partnerships over, and it was the biggest, baddest streamers on Mixer. Like, most of them only had 100,000 plus followers. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Twitch kind of just washed their hands of Mixer, offered partnerships to a few. A bunch of people jumped ship and went to Twitch because they felt more comfortable there. And that's fine. I felt more comfortable at Facebook. And it was weird because I didn't even have a Facebook account at that point. I'd never really been on the site because I'd avoided it for years. I don't know. I guess what I'm getting at is I think a lot of people just have this mentality that Facebook bad, and they didn't want to even give them a chance. And, you know, rightfully so. They were just stabbed in the back. They were emotional. They were upset. But the thing is they were upset and they didn't even realize that it was Microsoft that was stabbing them in the back. And Facebook is offering them a life raft. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I honestly saw it for what it was. I was really excited for it. And I gave it, it was very nerve-wracking to come over to Facebook and start streaming there, not knowing anything about the platform, not knowing anything about what was going to happen. And it was scary. I cried. I spoke with my wife and my son, and I talked to my community a bunch about it. And I honestly lost a lot of people moving to Facebook because a lot of people don't really care for Facebook in general. But I see it as a big entity. You know how Amazon owns Twitch? And it's part of Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Facebook owns Facebook Gaming.
Yeah.
And Facebook Gaming is the stream site under the Facebook umbrella.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. You know, it's a different company under the umbrella, and they're actually pretty nice. The staff has been amazing to me. They've been really helpful.
Tell me about it.
So right from the get-go, the staff, you know, offered all this stuff, and I reached out to a few of them to ask questions on Discord. And one of them in particular, he goes by the moniker Rockjaw online. He's been in community management for years and years, and he works for community management for Facebook Gaming, and he does like partner onboarding. And he has been so helpful to me over the last 4 or 5 months. He has helped me in many ways. I'll notice bugs, tell him about them, and they'll get crushed within a week. Anytime I have a question or a problem, they help me out. They paired me with a partner on Facebook who'd been doing really well, like a mentor. So if I have questions, I can ask them as well. I don't know. They did everything they could to make the transition not feel like I was getting bent over a barrel, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been kind of ranting about this for a while now. What did you have any particular questions about that? Like, because I feel like I've been rambling for a minute.
No, it's perfect. I don't want to disrupt you because I feel like I would miss something if I do. So, have you told everything you wanted to tell about that meeting? Because I interrupted you there.
I mean, honestly, without saying any names, there was a lot of partners in the meeting that were very unopen to even listening to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were convinced that the video was a scripted, pre-recorded video, even though they were reciting our names in chat. Some of them were like, just said F this and left. And it was like, wait a second, you just got stabbed in the back by Microsoft, but you're willing to, it just frustrated me seeing how many people weren't willing to give it a shot, you know, especially when it was an open door. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
In my life, I've always been about opportunities, and when a door opens, that's usually means something. Does that make sense? It's not always bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I guess with that meeting in general, there wasn't a whole lot with, you know, Mixer staff or anything. It was just a lot of upset Mixer partners being very emotional, probably being emotional more than logical, and making decisions without really, you know, thinking about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think I kind of wish more had, because, yeah, it bums me out how split up the Mixer family is. Like, we're everywhere. We're thrown to the wind. They're at Trovo and YouTube and Twitch. A lot of them went to Twitch. And many of them are actually starting to move, you know, back and forth between Twitch and Facebook, or doing both. So it's been kind of interesting to see, especially the development with what Facebook's been doing for their streamers. Some things they've been offering, like, for instance, they signed a deal with all the major record companies. So now me as a partner, I can play music on my stream without worrying about copyright strikes.
Mm-hmm.
They took out the guesswork. They're the middleman. They worked out all the deals with the record company and said, hey, our streamers can stream this now. It's okay, right? Instead of just saying, hey, turn down your music. You know what I mean? That's a solution right there. I think that's awesome. Granted, it's only for partners right now, but that's a step in the right direction. So
yeah, I would love that here.
Honestly, I think that's what Twitch needs to do. You know, offering their own music service is great, but they need to get out there with the record companies and strike up a deal, or they're going to start drowning with all of these DMCA things. Honestly, like you'll kind of feel this. I'm a little biased against Twitch, but it's just because I had a bad experience there when I did stream. So, and it could have just been the time and the place, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I've really come to love Facebook as a platform. The staff have been amazing to me. Like one time, Facebook, the platform's AI auto banned me. And then I just reached out to the staff and they had me fixed within like 10 minutes. Like, so the Facebook platform is kind of zealous and crazy, but I mean, I'm really thriving on it.
Okay.
Overall, you know what I mean? I feel like I've done really well. I mean, I started there at the end of July. I was really nervous. And then since then, we've grown to about 2,000 strong, a little over 2,000. Now, I'm not some crazy, you know, some people in that same time have done 30, 40,000 in growth, moving there from Mixer. It's crazy to see some other, my stream brothers and sisters succeeding. But, you know, I've got my family life, I've got work, I've got a business. I've got to take care of my family. So I don't stream all the time. Stream's like a hobby for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a great thing to do on the side and connect with people. And honestly, if I had to say like one thing, I would say just in the future, when these opportunities, like if you have opportunities like this, just be open to them. You know, don't be a stick in the mud. You know, even if it's like, if it seems like it's going to be a hard pill to swallow, sometimes it can be beneficial. You know, and I've actually really enjoyed the platform so far. Like one time I had a video that went viral on Facebook and it got like over 100,000 views. That's viral for me.
Yeah. But that's actually, and it has a reason. Please explain us the reason. Hashtag algorithm.
So Facebook has algorithm. And so Facebook is like Twitch and YouTube and Twitter had a baby. Okay. They had a threesome and then they had a baby. Facebook gaming is what that is. So you have your streams where you're live, like on Twitch. You have your social networking aspects like Twitter, where you can post offline. But your stream videos, while you're live, people can clip them like on Twitch, but those clips can go viral and your stream can go viral. So you could be offline and a video from a week ago, people will all of a sudden start watching it and liking it. So I had this video where I did a backflip, a loop in a plane in Flight Simulator. And it had like it was like 1,800 likes and like over 100,000 views. And I got something like 800 followers offline from that video alone and like 300-400 likes on my page. It was awesome. So the metrics it offered me, and I wasn't even online. So it was like my metrics were doing super well when you look at them, because usually it's based on how long you're online. So it was just cool to have a little clip that was like 30-40 seconds just doing a bunch of work for me. It felt awesome. And I'm sure that's what YouTubers feel like when they have a really successful video, you know, or when someone posts a video on Twitter and it just blows up and gets hundreds of thousands of likes and interactions, you know, goes viral to some extent.
Do you feel the feedback though to your stream? Because I mean, do you feel the feedback from, if you get a good video out there, like do you get actually these people who interact with your video, which did go viral, also coming to your stream?
Yeah, actually a lot of them do. So I mean, when they watch a video of you, they can like your page, they can like the video, and they can also follow your page. So there's lots of different levels of interaction on Facebook. So if someone follows your page or likes your page, they'll get notifications on their timeline when you go live in the future. So basically, if like, let's say someone saw a clip of me and they followed me, and in the future I'm playing that same game, they'll see that on their timeline and come in and hang out. So I've actually had a lot of people who followed me from the clip. They're like, oh, I found your clip and followed you and came in to watch you on your flights because it was so cool. I actually had someone who lost me from Mixer, saw the clip on Facebook and was like, oh my God, I recognize this guy, and messaged me. He's like, you're Mac from Mixer, right? And we used to play Sea of Thieves together. I was like, hell yeah. And we reconnected. It was just kind of crazy, you know, but it is very interesting to see how, you know, there is a churn. People will continue to keep watching you because they enjoyed your content. And there's a whole notification system in place to do that.
So when that whole, by the way, one thing in between, guys, you guys in this stream here, like in the chat, in the chat, if you have a question for him, please just shoot. Don't be shy.
Hey, actually, Cylon, I saw Cylon's chat there. I want to kind of say something to that.
Yeah, please.
Clips are funny to make on Twitch and watch in the future on community, but useless to grow the channel, in my opinion. They are. There really is no social aspect of Twitch other than watching the streams. Unless you take those clips and post them on a social network elsewhere, you won't grow from them.
Yeah.
I had 8-year-old clips. I told you I deleted them before the stream because of all this DMCA stuff. I had 8-year-old clips that only had like 100 views.
Thanks for the photos.
All of my clips on Facebook get hundreds of views. Hundreds. You know, people will if someone watches it and likes it, then it's shared on their timeline and their friends and family see it. And then if they like it, it's shared, it's just tossed around like a beach ball at a Nickelback concert. You know what I mean? It gets around.
Yeah. So,
I don't know, man. Honestly, Cylon, I do think clips on Twitter grow pretty well. They do well. But yeah, Instagram and Facebook are where clips tend to do well. TikTok as well. If you get clips made of your videos, and that's a great way your community can support you for free, is clipping your content and sharing it. Like I tell my viewers, you know, on occasion to do that. That's a great way they can support you is if they clip your content and share it on their social networking, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, wherever they are. That's a great way to get you out there, you know, for free. They don't have to tip or they don't have to donate, you know, or drop stars or bits or whatever it is on your platform.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. What
did I want to ask? Well, I think what I want to know is a little bit more about the time when that happened. Like, you know, Mixer was shutting down. I think you took a break for a while, right?
Yeah, I took off for about 2-3 weeks to kind of like really decide what to do. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think I was interested in what Facebook had to offer, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue streaming. I was on the fence, you know?
Yeah.
I sat down and I really just kind of enjoyed some time with my wife and son. And then at the end, I said, you know, I enjoy streaming too much to give up on it. But I don't know how I feel about streaming exclusively to Twitch. And when I came back, I decided to stream everywhere. I was going to do YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, but then I ended up just kind of sticking with Facebook. I liked it the most out of everywhere. I did a few multi-streams, streamed exclusively to a few of the platforms, you know, some Twitch, some YouTube, some Facebook.
By the way, we never talked about yet, guys, what he's actually streaming and what did he stream before. So Mac here was on Mixer. Tell him a little bit about what you did. You were on the Mixer streaming team.
So I was a partner.
What are you doing?
Sorry, it's hot. It's hot.
Okay. I thought you were like opening now and then like, well, I was in the
No, it's hot in here. It's hot. My office is way hot right now. I'm dying. Okay, so I basically you mean when I was on the Battlefield stream team?
Yes, please tell them because I have so many Battlefield fans in here. So
I'm a big Battlefield fan, right? I've been playing Battlefield since before some of you were alive, actually. I love Battlefield. And I played it since the first game, Battlefield 1942. I have played every game in the franchise. There was a couple I didn't really care for, but overall, Battlefield is like the main content on my stream and has been for years. That's how I kind of started growing on Twitch. When I started on Mixer, that's how I started growing. And I stream Battlefield still. I play Battlefield 5, even though a lot of people hate it. I love it. I think it's great. So I've been a fan for years. And when I was on Mixer, I had the opportunity of being on the Battlefield stream team. Short-lived Battlefield stream team before it died. Before Mixer, you know, was gone. But at the time, they were the only Battlefield stream team because the Twitch stream team had been nixed as well. So basically, we were kind of just the last line of defense for streaming for Battlefield. And I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of good people and played with a lot of good people. I mean, I think that's how I met Steve, actually. Mm-hmm. And Champers, I met before that. There's a lot of good people in the Battlefield community, but I mean, the experiences on the Battlefield stream team were fun because you get a slot like once a week at a certain time, and you'd stream on the channel, right? And they give you keys to give away. So I was giving away copies of Battlefield 5 and emblems and stuff. I just felt like a high roller. It was just like a baller. It was just fun. Yes, Big Brother Steve. No, we just all call him Steve. So anyway, I don't know. I really enjoyed my experience there, and it was fun to network with those people, get to know the Battlefield like community management and staff.
Will you get another streaming team on Facebook? Did you ask?
I would love to, but at the same time, I was kind of focused on building my own stuff back up before I wanted to do that. I think it's almost time, though. I think I'm going to ping
maybe
Braddock
it helps
about
even, connect, network a little bit and connect and try,
Yeah, I'm kind of one of those people, like, if I can't, like, take care of myself, I don't want to try and take care of other people. I don't like having mom syndrome and being, like, too focused on other people's stuff when I can't even deal with my own. So I think for those couple, and I think a lot of streamers from Mixer have been kind of in, and I told you about this, it's in pick up the pieces mode. And I said this to Mizzi when we were talking about it before. Imagine, like, with Mixer, kind of getting back to that, you dropped like a really precious piece of glass or china on the floor, and it hit the floor and just shattered into a million pieces. And sorry, I'm getting a little emotional thinking about this, but no matter how hard you try, you can't put it back together. It's not going to be the same. And that's what happened, when the Mixer stream died, and you try to, make it as good as you can somewhere else and get the community back together, but it won't be. So you just got to build off of it and continue going. And when I was in that rebuild phase, I'm still kind of in it. I was, and I hate to say this, it's kind of selfish, but I was a little too focused on myself. I think a lot of streamers were in that kind of just like shock, adrenaline phase where they're just trying to rebuild and get everything they can and pick up the pieces and get it before it all disappears, and just retain as much as they could.
Yeah.
And I've started only just now reconnecting with a lot of the streamers from Mixer, because a lot of us have been busy the last few months doing just that, just trying to, get that piece of china back together. I decided to just throw that one out and get a new one. It's like, there's no way I could fix it. So I've been, I have a bunch of people who stuck with me, but I've been rebuilding my community from scratch. And that's kind of the approach.
Yeah, that takes time. You can't do that from one night to the other. I mean, only if you're like Ninja, but you're not. So you have to start from scratch, basically, right?
Yeah. Pascal has a great point. Yeah. I mean, moving sites, you're never going to retain everyone. Shroud, a big guy, he was getting 100K video views on Twitch, and then he goes to Mixer, he's only getting 6 to 10K. And that's another great example of how their investment didn't turn out the way they wanted. They spent millions of dollars for those 70 to 100K views per day. Right.
And now he's back, right? He's also back on Twitch, right?
Yeah. Ninja and Shroud both went back to Twitch. Gothalion went to Facebook. A few different people went different ways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's I mean, for them, nothing would change really. They just make another deal, It's more like for the average streamers, or this, the streamers who, like you, that's the hard thing. You need to build everything up. You need to be patient. You need to have the strength to. I can't pronounce that word. I'm sorry. The strength, whatever, to do that.
Honestly, it takes a lot of perseverance to pick up again.
Yeah.
And
do you feel right now like you're in peace with the situation again, or do you feel still under this pressure?
Things remind me all the time of Mixer, and it makes me sad or makes me upset, spiteful. Like I said, I don't really want to buy the new Xbox because of it. And that's kind of just spite, Obviously, I'm still holding a grudge. But at the same time, I love Xbox and really want the new one. I see everyone getting them. I'm like, fuck you guys. I really want that. But, I'm at a crossroads where I definitely I'm getting better at it every day. It doesn't upset me as much. I see Mixer as a throwback, as like a piece of my history, a learning experience. And, you know, I just got to kind of take it as a stepping stone and move on from it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, you still look back at your years in high school, you know, with rose-colored glasses, or like when you were a kid, or, you know, those memories with your family and things like that. Just like with Mixer. That's how I look back and I go, man, those were good days. But I can always find good days elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Pascal, dude, you know I'm not going to get a PS5, bro. Quit it.
Well, what games do you play right now?
I mean, I've been way addicted to Flight Sim a lot lately. Flight Sim 2020 on PC has been really good for my stream. It's been good for my mentality. COVID is just a bitch, isn't it? Like it's an absolute bitch. And I've been stuck at home since February, basically. I've only left to go like grocery shopping or pick up my wife's pills.
Tell me about the situation more. Why, like when COVID started, like I think that's a very important point. Like sorry that I interrupt you, but I want to explain why we want to talk about this today. For me, the situation is very much like this. I ignore COVID. I live my life. I mean, I definitely stay away from people right now. I only meet a few. But it's not stressing
well, ignoring
me.
it doesn't make it go away. First off,
but I ignore it because I don't want to feel stress. Okay, so but for you, it's a completely different situation. So please, if you don't mind, explain first your situation. Why is it different for you?
So a lot of my viewers know this, but my wife, she nearly died in 2018. She got sick and got very, very frail to the point she couldn't even move up and down stairs or sit down on a toilet without help. And I had to, help her do her day-to-day routine because she was so sick. We tried going to the doctors and got no resolve. A lot of them were thinking it was stress or depression or mono or whatever. And then finally she got to the point she was like losing weight and couldn't even move anymore. And I was just terrified. So I took her to the ER. And she was in the ICU for, I think it was like 46 days. And in that time, it took them like 3 weeks to figure out exactly what was wrong with her. Doctors constantly coming in, professionals. They flew in an Air Force professional doctor to actually finally diagnose her. And she was diagnosed with a really rare form of lupus. Anyway, it fucked her up.
Breathe, just breathe.
She she almost died. I almost lost her. And I can tell you right now, seeing someone you care about in a hospital bed on a ventilator, not able to speak, and they just have a look of terror in their eyes, and they can't eat, they can't do anything. They're just on IVs, and it's terrifying.
It is.
It is the worst experience to go through in your life. And honestly, I fear for that more than anything. I don't want to lose her. I don't want her to experience that again. And we're still picking up the pieces from that. It's been years. As you can imagine, having a medical emergency in the United States it's shitty. It ruined us financially. We had a really successful small business, and my stream was killing it on Mixer. And then overnight, everything changed. We've lost almost everything. Paying medical bills, paying for medicine. just trying to keep afloat, you know? And anyway, it's been a rough couple of years, but it really hardened us, I'd say, coming into COVID, because we saw the signs early, and I didn't want her to be in the hospital again. She's high risk, you know? She's incredibly high risk. And it pisses me off so bad when people don't take it seriously. Because, like, I've just seen firsthand how bad it can be. Not even from COVID, you know?
Yeah.
It's awful. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemies. Like, I wouldn't want you to have to live through that. It kills you. I'm a different person now. I'm not the same. Anyway. So with that in mind, you know, we are incredibly cautious when it comes to COVID. My wife's only left the house one time since February. We've been up full on quarantine. We don't eat out. We don't order in. We don't go to parties or hang out with our friends. We stay at home. We're together all the time. I pulled my kid out of school before the school district got wise. I was one of the first parents to do it. I pulled him out about a month before the schools canceled school. It sucks. We but we've grown a lot closer over the last few months. It's been amazing to be together, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it really sucks sacrificing so much just for the better chance of keeping her alive, you know? And I could go out and pick up groceries one day and I could not wash my hands good enough and she could get sick. Terrifying to me.
It's a lot of pressure you have to take.
I don't want to have her go through that again, because not only is COVID just awful, but I couldn't visit her every day. You can't go visit your family, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like part of the reason she got through the first time was because I was there every fucking day, holding her hand.
Thank you so much for sharing this. You know that, right?
Honestly, like, please, guys, with COVID, take it serious. For this reason alone, you see how much it affects my family? Just, like, have some empathy and sympathy and just be a human, you know? We want to get through this. We want it to be done. Like, we want our lives to go back to normal, too.
Yeah.
It's so fucking irritating seeing the world just move on like nothing's happening. It's hard not to stress about it. You know what I mean, Mizzi? It's like, anyway.
Like I said, you are in a completely different situation than me, you know?
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
why
that's the thing is I worry that not just everybody, you know, that has someone at home that's sick is someone that can worry. You know what I mean? It happens to everybody. But yeah, we're definitely a higher risk than more others. And the same thing is like, you know, wearing masks, social distancing, that shit is important because it slows the spread and it keeps it from getting into homes where it does matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very important. And I could fucking talk about that all day. But I mean, for the past 8 months, I've picked up my groceries from curbside. I haven't been in a grocery store. 9 months now, I think. We come home and by the way, when I leave, I wear a respirator, like a full on with the filters and the face covering, and wear gloves. go to the store and pick up the groceries. I come home and it's going to sound crazy, but I sanitize my groceries. Every single fucking package. I spray it down with sanitizer and clean it and wipe it down. Anything my wife can come in touch with that comes from the outside, I spray it down, or it goes through a sanitation period. Mail, money, medicine, anything. It's shitty. You know how many fucking hours I've wasted this year cleaning groceries? A lot. A lot more than I care to wager. Oh my God.
Yeah, this year has been quite a challenge for you.
And I don't know. I just see people out and they don't wear their masks, or they wear them under their nose, or they just, it's just like, what's the fucking point? Anyway, it's frustrating being in the US where it's so polarized and political when all it should be about is saving lives. It really should be. Our nation came together on 9/11 like I've never seen before, and we united and tried to fix things and make it better. It's like, where is the patriotism now? 250 fucking thousand people dead. 200,000 diagnosed with COVID yesterday in the US. Jesus Christ. No one gives a shit. So many people don't care, and it's so fucking heartbreaking.
Well,
anyway,
I think there will always.
I'm going to quit rambling about that, but
it's okay. I think that had to be said, if you're okay with that.
No, it's fine.
I think, at the very end, there's no nobody or everyone, There are always people who care and there are always people who don't care. And we can't change that. Like, we are sitting here because we all care, We're all here because we care. And we have to start with ourselves, and maybe, by living as an example, we can change others.
So I know I kind of tangented us into that when we were talking about something else just before.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember now. Was it Battlefield or something else?
Yeah. We switched topics. Let's try to lighten it a little bit up. I would love you to tell me the story actually about HyperX, if you want to, again, if you feel up for that, if you even feel up about talking.
It's not even that big of a story.
Well, so I thought it pretty.
I love Battlefield, as I've told you guys a couple times now, and I'm passionate about it. And there is a local esports arena in Vegas. Being in a big city is neat because they have things like this. Like, the fuck is an esports arena, and why does it exist? It's a huge arena set up for gamers to go and hang out and watch other gamers and game together. They have TV set up where you can game in the corner and play Switch or Xbox or PC. They have a whole section set up where you can have parties. And then they have a stage with an arena where they have a full-on production company. And this is run by HyperX. They're not like some little company. They make tons of cool shit for gaming. They run esports tournaments. They do Mario Kart tournaments all the time. They do COD tournaments, Fortnite. And I went there with some friends who were visiting, and we went and checked it out. And I was so mad because they didn't have Battlefield there. There was no Battlefield. They have all these PCs set up, all these Xboxes, PS4s. No fucking Battlefield anywhere. And I was so salty. Not even BF4 or BF1, nothing. So I went to the manager and I was like, hey, who do I got to talk to about donating or getting some copies of Battlefield in here? Because I'm really interested in just trying to get a few. And at the time I was on the Battlefield stream team. So I thought, well, maybe I could get a few copies. I was just talking out of my butt, hoping to get some. And then I reached out to Braddock and I asked him, and I was like, hey man, these guys don't have Battlefield anywhere and I'd love to see it there. He's like, sure. And he tossed me a few keys. And I went to them and they were like, oh, you were serious. And so they had me sit down with their coordinator for esports or whatever. And we talked about my stream and talked about Battlefield and talked about, all that. And he's like, well, I'd love to see Battlefield in here more, but there's just not a lot of interest for it. And there's no way to do, because there wasn't community games at the time either. There was no way to really host contests, or anything. So anyway, he was like, well, we'd love to have you come in and do some hosting, some casting. And I was like, oh, cool. Sure. Let me know. And then they called me like a week later and they're like, hey, we're going to have this Modern Warfare tournament. We want you to come in and cast. I was like, oh, okay. I've never played Modern Warfare, but sure, let's do this. So I, went down and got set up, and they have this like booth set up, and there was this lead caster with me, and he was kind of coaching me through it. And I sit in the booth with him, and I got this cool headset on, and I can hear like the production people talking in my ear, and they'll be like, Mac, can you hear us? I'm like, oh shit, this is cool. I feel like I'm in the CIA or something. And anyway, it was really interesting. I felt like I was like, like just at a basketball game, like casting it all, or something. But it was, it was video games. It was cool. And then I did the whole tournament, and I did the best I could. I didn't know a lot about COD, so I just was like, oh man, he did. That was so cool. Just being excited about things, and that was dominant gameplay. Just stuff like that. Anyway, so at the end, they let us go through and have a tour. Me and my wife walked through the whole facility and got some like pictures inside at their like production booth. And it was really cool. They were really nice people. And that was just before the end of the year. And they said they'd invite me back, but then I've been kind of on hiatus since February. So I haven't been anywhere.
It didn't happen properly anyways, right? Because of COVID. Or?
Yeah, between COVID shutting everything down, it basically hasn't happened. So they're only just kind of opening back up in a limited capacity and stuff, and I'm not going to go out anymore. I'm not risking interacting with people. Like, we have friends and family here in town. We haven't seen them. My mom wants us to come visit for Thanksgiving up, a couple hours away. We're not going. We're playing our odds by staying at home, being safe, But yeah, anyway, enough of that. The thing with HyperX is it's a beautiful, fun place. If you guys are ever in Vegas and you're able to go to the Luxor, it's inside. It's called HyperX Esports Arena. They actually have a chair. Well, they usually have it set up, and it's like a Game of Thrones themed chair, but nice. It's made out of just keyboards, like HyperX RGB keyboards. And it just lights up, and it looks like that sword, throne or whatever that they have in Game of Thrones.
I bet you have a picture on there, right?
I do have a picture somewhere. It's somewhere. I got to find it. But yeah.
You should have prepared it.
Anyway, we only talked about it just before the show. So
yeah, that's true.
But anyway, it was a neat experience. And I hope to get to do it again someday. Maybe when the new Battlefield comes out, there'll be enough hype behind it. And
are you hyped about the new Battlefield?
I mean, there's not much to be hyped about at the moment. It's more of just a hype cannon. That's all it is. There's some like very limited like engine footage, which may not even be for Battlefield. I don't know. I love Battlefield, but the Battlefield YouTubers are so good at making like a 30-minute video out of nothing. Have you noticed that?
Yes, I did. I mean...
There really is nothing on the new Battlefield. They just announced that it'll be like end of 2021 at this point. So I'm optimistic that it'll probably be released sometime mid-2022. That just because Battlefield games are infamous for delays.
That would be even early, I think, right? Probably end of the year.
Well, they were saying end of year 2021. So end of next year.
True. You said 22. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking it'll probably actually be spring or summer 2022.
Yeah.
But it is. I'm calling this now the new Battlefield.
I rather wait, to be honest.
I'm calling this now the new Battlefield game is going to be called Battlefield. That's it. That's all it's going to be called. No Battlefield 6. No Battlefield Modern. It's just going to be called Battlefield. They're going to restart because that's the new trend with game branding is just to name it like the base name or a movie or a TV show. When they come out with like a throwback one, they just name it the same thing again. You know what I mean? Like the original name.
As long as I don't call it Call of Duty, I'm fine.
So, I mean, I'm excited for the new Battlefield. Let's just say that. but there's not much out there, and I don't like getting hyped for new games anymore because I've learned over the last few years that games are like 50% hype and 50% content instead of 10% hype, 90% content. So,
but isn't it the
I'm
same as
cautiously
films?
optimistic. Say
Isn't
what?
Isn't it the same as movies?
Yeah, you know, I will say that trailers for movies have been awful for decades about like just showing the best like 5 minutes of the entire movie.
Yeah,
And
I
sometimes
mean,
even stuff in the trailer isn't even in the movie. It was like cut from the movie. You're like, what the hell? But yeah, no,
well, look, for me, it's like that. If I see if whatever Battlefield it was, every time I saw a trailer, I was waiting like 1 or 2 months before I bought the game, to be honest, because I knew game would come out. Then they had to fix things. Hey, Neon. Hey, Neon, how you doing? So then they need to fix things. It was not working. So I didn't want to go through the pain phase. I would call it the pain phase, like the first 2 months before they brought the first big update. So, and also, I mean, with Battlefield, it's a little bit different, but many games, or also movies, they show things and then you don't get what so I always was kind of waiting a little bit for the feedback or the gameplay.
sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Pascal because that's happened like 4 times. Mac and I get too hyped because it's BF. We buy at launch and get mad. At BF1, I actually was the first Battlefield game I waited, and everyone was mad at me because I waited a month before I bought it, and I finally caved. But it was just like nowadays with games, I don't buy new ones. I don't buy them right off the bat. I'll wait. Unless it's on like Game Pass or something, I won't try it right away.
Yeah.
Or if a dev isn't tossing me a key, I'm like, it's not worth my time. Yeah. Honestly, like I'm really proud of myself that I've gotten to a point in my stream where I do get like content given to me. It's not all the stuff I want, not always. Like I'm desperately praying to the gaming gods I can get a copy of Cyberpunk for free. But
yeah, I would love that
that's
too.
probably not going to happen. But I mean,
it does.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Keanu actually told me I was breathtaking at E3. So
somebody clip that, please, so we can send it to Cyberpunk.
So I was at E3 2018, and it was an amazing experience. And when when they were announcing that Keanu was going to be in it, I was in the room, like in the crowd, like 50 feet away from the dude. And he comes out, and the room was just blowing up. And I was live streaming it with my smartphone and like talking to people, and everyone was like, "Holy shit, it's Keanu!" And then that one dude was like, "You're breathtaking." He's like, "No, you're breathtaking." And so ever since then, because he said it to the crowd, not just to him, I've taken credit. I'm breathtaking, and Keanu said so himself. I'll get him to certify it someday. Maybe like get it signed with a court document or something. Mac is breathtaking. Check my DM, Swan. Why should I do that right now? Hold on 1 second.
Well, now you know what you have to put on your shirt.
I'm breathtaking. But yeah, no, as far as streaming and gaming is concerned, like I try to be excited about new things because as a streamer, everyone's like, "Oh, what are you going to play? Are you going to like this? You're going to do that?" Mm-hmm. And I always try to have an opinion on it. But I've learned the last few years that gaming has fundamentally changed from the ground up. Mm-hmm. And it's like, the more hyped you are about it, the more you get let down by it at launch. And you were saying, waiting a couple months. My strategy is just anti-hype instead of waiting. Like if the game comes out and everyone's loving it.
Yeah. Okay, I see. So, well, a couple of months is maybe a little bit over the top. I think I can hold on like 6 to 8 weeks, because normally it launched like in September, October or something. And then when it comes to December, Christmas, I'm like, okay, I have to have it. So, yeah.
So like right now, I'm really kind of like, you and I talked about Call of Duty last week, and then I went and watched some streams. I had zero interest until you said something, by the way, so thank you.
Pascal.
And now I'm like...
They probably just talk about this game like for the next 10 years.
Honestly, now it's just they joke about it a lot, just to be funny. Like, they posted a tweet yesterday. It was a fake tweet of them. And it was like, guys, Cyberpunk was never being developed. We just wanted to hang out with Keanu. Sorry. And it was like a fake tweet of theirs. And people are like, well, we aren't even mad. So, I mean, I would have done the same.
Man, the best campaign ever. I mean, you gotta say. Oh, God.
Just could you imagine they just didn't develop a game and spent 10 years hanging out with him for fun? Good
Yeah,
God.
well, it sounds like a plan, right? I mean,
Anytime I see that bright color yellow, like I see it now in the stream, and I get triggered because that's the cyberpunk yellow.
oh yeah, true. It is.
You see it and you're like, oh God, there's a delay notice.
Oh, so very true. So very true.
Oh, God.
Any other games you're waiting for, like besides Cyberpunk? Nothing.
Honestly, that's pretty much the only one I'm interested in at the moment. But okay, so I'm kind of teetering about getting a VR. Like I'm seeing this Oculus 2, the Quest 2, and there's a lot of interesting VR stuff coming out, and I think it's finally about time to start biting into it. You know what I mean? Like before it seemed like a hokey, weird, like grift, and now it seems more like functional and usable and fun, and there's more software and games, and just it's more like saturated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So part of me is very, very excited to try VR now and get that as part of my content on my stream.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like sitting on the fence like, ooh, I don't know. Is it time to buy it? I'm like really nervous about that stuff. I used to early adopt technology all the time. You're looking at a guy that bought a combo Blu-ray HD DVD player when I worked at Best Buy. Okay, that was the worst purchase of my life. The thing never worked. It fell apart. It cost a butt ton. Okay, I adopted stuff all the time early, and it's a big mistake with technology. But then at the same time, it's like VR has been, what, 5-10 years now? Maybe it's time. Yeah. Maybe it's time to jump into it. And in fact, they were doing VR when we were kids. It was just crappy. You know what I mean? It was just really, really crappy.
It's interesting that you say, because when it came out, I was like, oh, this is the next gen, you know? And now, like after 10 years, right? It's like 10 years now, I think. Like I'm sitting here now and I'm more like, this stuff, it will never come out. Something else will come out. But what will come out? You know, what is the next thing which will come out and actually will be a boom on the market? You know, what's the next big thing? Like,
I honestly,
I don't know. You know, what is it? Like,
well, devs are always trying to make the next best app, the next killer app or game, you know, and it's hard because the market's fickle. We always want something new and more impressive and simple and tons of updates. And it's like hard to do that on a game development cycle. Like you look at that, what we'd have to put the development team through to get what we want as a gamer, you know, this consumer cycle where we're like, need new updates, it's like people aren't happy with a game unless it's constantly getting new content. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
And that we also on the other end of the fucking of the spectrum, people are saying, oh, that we shouldn't grind devs into dust and do these crazy crunch cycles and stuff, but we demand it by how much content we want for a game to be successful. So it's like, I feel like the game dev development is burning the candle from both ends. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're trying to please the community and make a game that's like so up to date and fantastic and does everything and is constantly getting updated with new content that's relevant. But at the same time, they need talent that can do that, you know, and that talent is people. They're human beings and they have to work their butts off to make that happen. Oh my gosh, Pascal, you miss BF Premium? Honestly, I hated Premium when it came out, and now I kind of miss it too. I hate games as a service for sure. Games as a service, I think, is bad because the second there's any dip in the game's productivity as far as sales, then the game stops getting support.
Well,
and that's exactly.
People have hired it.
That's what happened with BF5.
I mean, isn't it the fact about Premium, and please tell me if I'm wrong, isn't it a fact about Premium what we love, that we just get constantly new content out, you know, new maps, new kinds of maps?
I think the Premium thing was nice, but Battlefield did that for years. They just sell expansion packs. So I think Premium was nice for Battlefield, knowing that people had already pre-bought all that content, so they weren't just making it a vacuum of content that people may never invest in. So from EA and DICE's perspective, that was good for them. And for us, it was nice knowing we had that content. But the big problem is there was always the base game people who never bought into Premium, and it fractured the community in half. It was always a problem. And so with the games as a service, it was nice that everyone was together and all the maps were, we can all play them together. But I mean, there's got to be a happy middle, they're like.
Well, I don't know if Neon is still here, but when Black Ops Cold War came out, I knew of a lot of streamers that they said like they will let down now Battlefield 5 and they will switch completely to Cold War. I'm pretty sure most of them will switch back now again because Cold War is also.
Yeah, I honestly loved watching that dumpster fire on social networking because many of them made a big deal about how they were leaving Battlefield forever. They're like, I'm done, never streaming it again. 2 days later, oh, I'm back, guys. Sorry. It was a joke. Drama queens. You love Battlefield and you just want. The biggest problem with content creators in Battlefield is we love Battlefield, but Battlefield doesn't get views. A lot of content creators are out there to grow.
About 4 days, and then what can you do? You can only hope. When you're so frustrated about a game, and then another game comes out, and they promise you they bring out new content. I think what did you say? Like they will bring a new map like immediately after 4 weeks.
Here's the thing: you return to Battlefield. You love Battlefield. You love it. You have a love-hate relationship with it. You love it so much that you'll leave a brand new game that you were excited about that you were going to replace your game with and come right back. It obviously is a good game. But there are some core fundamental things with Battlefield that ruined it out the gate and made it hard for mass consumer purchasing and mass support on streams.
Well, and they murdered the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They murdered the game. That's what I was just saying, is it's really hard for a streamer. Like, every time I stream Battlefield, I know my stream isn't going to have as many views. I know. I love Battlefield, but
I love it still. I still love playing it. I love the movement. I love the look. I don't like a few things, yes, but I must say I'm not that judgy. As long as I have a squad with me, people I can laugh with, I can enjoy playing with. I don't have a problem. But also, I'm not a content creator. I stream only here and there for fun. I don't need to create content. That's a difference for you guys. If a
content creator wants to keep growing, okay, they have to make certain sacrifices.
Yeah.
You always have to be playing content that people want to see, right? Mm-hmm. So, and this is it's a money pit. I hate it so bad. I don't like investing into it because every streamer's like, the new game, I got to get it. New game, got to get it. New expansion, got to get it. Got to play it. They play it for 3-4 days, and then they go back to their mainstay. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, whether it's Fortnite or Battlefield or COD, they'll play that new game for a week and then come back. Yeah. So I honestly Battlefield this time around, it just didn't have a good stream launch. It didn't have a good perception at launch. And as a result of which, a lot of content creators that used to stream it regularly and would play it and have lots of viewership or people that would be interested in watching it, no one cares anymore. It's like, oh, Battlefield, who this? No one cares. It's irrelevant when it comes to streaming. So, if Battlefield did something big, like if they said Firestorm was free tomorrow, people would stream it again, guaranteed, because it's relevant again.
Well, maybe I think the time is done. I think
it's too late now.
It's too late now. They should have done it in the first place. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if they would have done it in the first place, this game could be still running really good. But they just missed their opportunity. They really missed it.
It was a lot of missteps between miscommunication from the European staff and their base all over the world. There was a kind of sensitive gamer base that was really upset about stupid, really dumb stuff. Like, I don't care that there's girls in the game. Who gives a shit? Everybody wants to play as who they want to be represented as. It's stupid to get upset about that, especially when it's a video game. Yeah. I love Battlefield. Here, let me show you this.
Yeah, I think you're right, Neon, by the way. Damn, I saw something completely different. I don't tell you what I saw first.
What did you see?
No.
So, this here is my V. Mm-hmm. I made this. I designed it and 3D printed it. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-color print. It's kind of like an Oreo. You got that white layer on top there. But I went to EA Play in 2018, and they had BF5 there, like a demo. What did you think this was? I'm curious now because I don't even know.
Oh God, that's wine. I told you it's a bad idea. Oh.
Okay, so I designed and 3D printed this, and I took it to EA Play.
Mhm.
And when I was because they were going to have a BF5 demo, and there was going to be some of the devs there, and I was like, I'm going to get this signed, okay?
Mhm.
And this is like my most treasured Battlefield possession. And it's because of this signature right here, down at the bottom. That's Lars Gustafsson's signature.
Mhm.
He's the creator of Battlefield.
Yeah.
It was his idea. That
Yeah.
just makes me so happy. You know, like Battlefield's awesome. And I'm just like, it's hard for me not to love it in any shape or form, you know, but like, even then, Mr. Battlefield himself, dude, I've got a picture of me standing next to him. We're just like, yeah, I was so happy. It was like 110 degrees outside. I was standing next to Mr. Battlefield, and I had the biggest smile on my face. But anyway, I like even Hardline, the game I didn't like. You know, Battlefield is Battlefield, and it's a really fun community. It brings people together. I really hope this next game does something to try and be, you know, like appealing to their existing community of hardcore players, but at the same time appeal to the masses. So it has a long life cycle, and you know,
I think the question is that possible? Like, can you in point of Battlefield, like I don't think Battlefield will ever be a Call of Duty. And if the more they try to be a Call of Duty,
the thing is, though, they've traded and flip-flopped over the years. Does that make sense? Like, who was the top dog? So,
well, no, look, what I'm getting at is like, I saw an interesting video by the way, guys, look it up. I really love that dude. It's B Dobbins or something, B Dobbins FTW on YouTube, and he made a video. And he's a Call of Duty player, and he made a video with the title "Why You Shouldn't Play Call of Duty, but You Should Play Game X." It doesn't matter what game it is. But what he said in the video, one part of it was that because the way Call of Duty is made, like you have no recall, you know, you have a quick respawn time, etc., etc. It's a game which is very easy to play and not to get frustrated for some people. For me, yes. So, but
that's the reason that game frustrates me, is because there is no bullet drop and things like that drive me insane. I'll be shooting across the map above the guy and it never hits him. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Exactly. But what I want to get to is the problem was that many companies after that, you know, try to be the Call of Duty in a way and put this strategy on their games, and it didn't work. Everyone is failing, and I think Battlefield kind of tried to integrate a few things as well in that. And I think the only thing they should do or could do is try to get to the core back and build a game, hopefully modern game. For me, I mean, I want a modern game. I wanted a modern game since Battlefield 4. I didn't want Battlefield 1. I didn't want Battlefield 5. But that's me. It doesn't matter.
That was one of their mistakes, is the community fizzled off because of the old school arena. The younger gamers, they want fast-paced, crazy, modern combat. Old combat seems boring to them, even though more people probably died in any of those wars than any modern war. Mm-hmm. It's just boring to them, and I get that. My kid is a great example. You've got kids. Your kids like their content fast-paced, I'm sure. You know what I mean? My son, like, I'm only just getting him into BF5 now. It took me like 2 years to get him to try it and play it. You know, the content had to be all there. And the game had to be fully expanded upon and be all there for him to really enjoy it, you know?
And it takes time. Yeah, it takes time to get in. I mean, even for me, like, I was very frustrated at the beginning of Battlefield 5, to be honest. I was very frustrated.
It was catered to people who knew exactly what they were doing and not to the new gamers at all. And like, I remember when I was playing, and I'm not saying you were a new gamer.
I wasn't, and it was frustrating.
So the thing is I remember playing it, and the Battlefield community was like, oh, wow, this feels so good. But then anyone who was like, played casually, like, or it was their first Battlefield, or they just didn't have time to play every day, they were like, this is the worst ever. I can't even kill people. What is going on? And I had a friend who stopped playing because of that.
Yeah.
Because he only had time to play once a week, and he couldn't compete with people who have been playing Battlefield for years, and it was catered to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's my issue, because I have a really busy life, and I almost play right now maybe twice a week or something, and then for 2 hours. And if you don't play regularly, and also if you get older, I don't know how old you are, but I'm running to close to 40 right now. So it's definitely tougher, if you're tired in the evening and then just want to chill and relax. You can't chill and relax. You need to be fully present. And yeah, I mean, but I also like it. Like for me, I'm a very competitive person, so I want to get better. I don't want to just run and then die 20 times and get 2 kills. No, I'm definitely a competitive person. I want to get at least close a little bit to the top. But if that's not working over and over again, yes, it's definitely getting frustrating.
So what would you want in a new Battlefield that would make it like, what do you think a new Battlefield could have that could be like,
Honestly,
bring it back to its former glory, or bring the people to a point where they were like, everyone wants to buy and play and stream this game?
Honestly, and I think I'm the wrong person to ask, but I would like to have a mixture between Battlefield 3 and 4. Like, I really loved the fact in Battlefield 3 that you had also the close quarters maps, because I'm an infantry player. I don't need tanks. I mean,
hey, Betty, how are you?
So I also love I love close quarters maps. I want to have big maps. I want to have small maps. I want to have rush back. I was a rush hardcore player. I want to have hardcore back, like on Battlefield 4. So. Many people said like they want to have Bad Company 2 back. I can't talk about that because I started playing with Battlefield 3.
Well, if you love Rush, then you'll love Bad Company. Bad Company is based around Rush. It was like Rush first. But yeah, you should try it just one of these days. Give it a shot.
You can play it on PS4, I think, right? Can you play Bad Company on PS4?
It's backwards compatible on the Xbox. I know that. Whether there's a community or not, I jumped in it a few times over the last few years and played. I still have my loadouts. There was a gun I used called the NS-2000. It was a shotgun.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's a forward loading, so you pump forward, and you could do these weird like specializations in BF2 and Bad Company that made your gun like crazy. So I added these magnum rounds to it and enhanced sights, and so I could snipe with this shotgun like clear across the map. I'd hit snipers with it and down them. But
that sounds amazing.
It was an interesting game, and it was one of the first games that actually did like modifications to the guns, and that's where that stuff kind of came from in like the later COD games and stuff like that. But oh my gosh, I need a Naval Strike 34/7. You're funny, Pascal. What?
Well, what do you wish for? What you would love? What would you like to see? Also, the chat, guys. What would you like to see in the next Battlefield gen? What
honestly,
would you like to see in Battlefield 6?
I would like to see them up the player count. I'm sick of 64 players.
Oh, for real?
And even on PC and next gen, it was capped at 64 players. So if they up the player count to like 100 or 150, that would be insane, first off. And that's one of the big things I'd like to see. Secondly, they need to cater to their existing fan base and their new community at the same time by having lots of game modes, but not game modes that were half-assed on the same map. That's my biggest complaint with like BF 1 and 5 is they like hodgepodge domination in to every map, and you know what I mean? They just took the existing Conquest map and threw a domination on one section of it. And it bothered me so much how little it was tested and how bad it was. Like, yeah, the more game modes you have, like small close quarters game maps, like the close quarters in BF3 was amazing. It was top notch. They really designed those maps for close quarters.
Yeah.
Bring back some of the favorite old maps to bring in the new, bring in the old people, like, and not, oh my God, I am so sick of Wake Island. I'm so fucking sick of Wake Island, and I'm so sick of Metro. I never liked Metro to begin with. Operation Underground is the first variation of Metro that I actually vibed with, and it's because it's not just a straight tunnel. There's like 100 different ways to get from A to C on the side paths because of all the like side tunnels and swimming, and like it's just it was so imbalanced and it was never right. It never worked right. If you were on the Russian team almost every time you won, it never worked right in the old games. And that's why I didn't like it. I like those maps sometimes, but I feel like they need to be not be the mainstay map of the genre. You know what I mean? Like Wake Island has been a map since the first game. I don't know, but a lot of people, for instance, like Gulf of Omen, and they've remastered that a couple of times, and it's fairly new. It's fresh. You know what I mean? It's not a 20-year-old map that people who are like getting grandkids now are going to want to play. It's a map that, people who are my age are going to want to play with their sons and daughters who are just getting into Battlefield now. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's something that they should capitalize on, is the fact that people who were playing their games, Battlefield 2, Bad Company, Modern Combat, they're starting their own families now. And they have kids at that age group. I don't know. If Battlefield could really just
robots, exoskeletons.
I honestly don't really want. Yeah, I don't want exoskeletons. If they did like another Battlefield 2142 that was its own franchise or something, that would be cool. I enjoyed that one. I don't know if you guys ever played that.
No.
Battlefield
But I think
2140.
yeah. But I
it
think
was a futuristic.
The next one, I think with the next one, they shouldn't fuck around. They should just bring a modern.
Stick to what they know is good.
Yeah, they should just
the maps that are good, the play modes that are good. Maybe get something huge that is just groundbreaking. Like, I don't understand why they got away with Levolution after they spent so much time and money talking it up in BF4.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry, I didn't get that.
Levolution, right? The Levolution stuff. That was next gen. That was so cool when it came out, right? And then the next two games have nothing with it. There's some sandstorms and snowstorms. Like they spend all this time and money emphasizing these things, and then they just ditch them. That is the biggest frustration I have with the DICE devs and the EA team, is like BF4 was supposed to have a tablet mode that you could play as the commander, and then they ditched that. There was like all these stupid things that they like put tons of time and money and development into, and then or it either never comes out or it comes out and is just trash. So yeah, if they maybe cut out some waste, just focused on some core game modes, some next gen features that would really make it seem cool and immersive, and feel real. Like some things that were promised in older games, like maybe the ability to, drag people like they promised in BF5. Just some things that would make it feel next gen.
Yeah.
And I'm probably looping now at this point, but I feel like the biggest thing would be huge battles that would set them apart from COD or any other shooter, is if there's 75 versus 75 or 100 versus 100. That would be the next gen Battlefield for me, because that's what always set them apart before, was how big it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel you're right. Even though for me personally, it's I feel always a little bit lost. Like even on 64 servers, I feel much better always on 32 maps than on 64.
Well, then there's some maps though, like El Sundan, that like even on 64 players, you feel like you don't even run into people half the time.
Yeah.
I never liked that feeling of playing Battlefield on the 360 when it was 12v12 and you would run around the map and never see someone. That's not how Battlefield should feel.
On Conquest. Yeah. I'm almost always like breakthrough. So you have to run eventually against
How would you feel about a Battlefield where there was like 100 versus 100, but say 50 of the people on each team were like NPCs, like AI. So it isn't necessarily all real players. So some of them are like bots.
Wow.
And they run around. They would be like, well, did you ever play Titanfall?
No.
Really?
No.
So Titanfall, they would do that. There would be bots running around that would follow you and fight against you as well. So you'd fight against real players and bots, and it would supplement it. AI is getting really good. I'm just saying it would be kind of interesting if maybe half the map was full of fodder players that would get kills here and there, but they're bots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They follow you around 100% of the time. If you're the squad leader, they'll run with you and do what you ask or go where you go, tell them to go. But at the same time, they're not really accurate. They're not, excellent players. But then it would fill super full. There would just be players everywhere. Does that make sense? I don't know if they do that, but that was just a suggestion.
Yeah, I hope they don't.
I feel like the logistics of having 75 people on each team connection wise would be a nightmare. Because everyone has different internets and pings and hardware, and you know what I mean? It just gets to be...
I'm wondering if that will ever get better anyways. Yeah, because you can't manage that, like the whole net issue and internet issue, It just depends.
That's why I feel like they're kind of getting to a point where there'll only be so many real players kind of supplemented with things that make the battle feel bigger. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
AI players,
please
a bigger
buy good
map.
internet to your PS5 now. The new bundle.
Anyway,
can you show me a few of your 3D models, by the way?
Sure.
What else do you have?
Yeah. So I showed you the Battlefield 5.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you some of these guys here. I keep a few little knickknacks on my desk for fun. Got me little Charmander, a low poly Charmander here.
I think you can hold a little bit off the camera because then it doesn't get it gets too blurry. Like a little bit closer to you.
Closer to me?
Yeah. Oh, it's better. Hello.
And then I've got a low poly Squirtle. I've got like a whole base set here, just sitting on my desk. Low poly Pika. This guy's cute.
Can't see his face really. It's too blurry.
Yeah, there's not a lot of detail because the light gets bright.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you hold it too close, it's getting even more blurry.
There, I could just turn this light off. Then I could put things closer to it. So that's a Bulbasaur. This is one thing I've been working on my streams. It's kind of a big project.
Thank you, Alila, for stopping by. Have a good one.
Here's one more small one. This is the Facebook gaming logo. I designed this and printed it just kind of like to say thank you for them partnering me.
Yeah, nice.
And I leave it in my room. What else we got here? So this one's a more intense project. It's like a month or two long project it's several prints going together to make a bigger item.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been playing Flight Sim on stream a lot, and Flight Sim is super duper fun. And unfortunately, I only have a controller and a keyboard and mouse to play with. I used to have a joystick years ago, and then I loaned it to a friend, and his house burnt down, and then never got a replacement. No big deal. It didn't really matter because I'd rather he be alive, But the thing is so if you want to buy a joystick right now, it's a nightmare. Anyone who plays Flight Sim knows this. It's like a joke. The market is bad. First off, it's been like 10 years since anyone has made or designed a new joystick. Like Logitech has the same models they've had since I worked at Best Buy at 2004.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's not a lot of innovation needed. There's a few companies out there that make new stuff specific for Flight Sim and stuff, like Thrustmaster. But the thing is they can't keep up with the demand for all the people needing joysticks because this game has made a huge demand. So in addition to that, you have the modern era where people can make bots to buy shit online. So you have scalpers who are buying up joysticks and in mass and reselling them using bots. So like joysticks that cost like $40 to $100, $40 normally are like $200.
Okay.
Or a throttle system that's normally $200 costs $500. It's a joke. So I've decided to 3D print and make my own, kind of leading up to that. I found a model online that I liked, and I've been modifying it a little bit. But basically, you see here, this is a base, and there is a joystick, and it's got springs inside here to kind of get resistance. And let me lift that up a little bit more, so it'll recenter. Like when I let go of it, it'll recenter back to
it's like a gimbal. Nice.
Like a gimbal or suspension. But anyway, and it rotates and moves, and then there's also buttons on it. On the back here, there's 4 buttons.
Hold it more to you. Hold it more.
A little bit back. I'm trying to get the light here.
Yeah. Perfect.
There we go. There's some buttons, and then there's also a trigger. And then I'm going to put some more switches down on the side here. There's some little holes here. But this here is almost done. This one's I'm still in the prototyping phase because I'm making some minor changes to it.
Gotcha.
Then this other part of it, which is it's a two-part piece. This is the throttle box. This is for like adjusting the engine's throttle or the speed, you know. And this has got two little knobs here that you can.
Pedals. Yeah.
So basically, I can engine 1, engine 2, and then on the side here, I've got these little knobs here. These are for like adjusting your flaps, or like trim stuff on the plane. And then I've got these little switches. These are like electrical switches.
Yeah, I see
You
that.
can flick them, and anyway, these are like old hardware switches that you'd see in like, you know, old electronics and stuff. But both of these will work in tandem, these devices, and it'll be a throttle control mixed with a joystick. And yeah, I've printed like 95% of this. The rest of it will be just switches and wires and some electronics that I bought. I actually used 2 different printers to make this, a traditional 3D printer, which is called an FDM 3D printer.
Okay.
And how they work is they lay down layers and layers and layers. So imagine you have a flat bed.
Mm-hmm.
And so with this print here, this Charmander here,
Mm-hmm.
it actually printed this bottom piece first, that layer. And then there was a layer on top of it, and a layer on top of that. And eventually it gets to the point where it builds up and up and up and up and up until it's this piece.
Mm-hmm. How long does it take?
It depends on the print, the quality, the material, but the average prints for me take between 6 and 10 hours.
Okay.
I always print things slower so they have a better chance of success. The faster you print things, the more likely things will go wrong.
Yes, everything.
Yeah, prints can fail. There's a lot of moving parts. So I like to tell people when they ask about 3D printers are like owning a hot rod that prints other hot rods.
Yeah.
So hot rods take a lot of maintenance and a lot of things can go wrong with them. And then add in the factor that it can make more hot rods, you know? But anyway, so I've got the traditional printer. That's like all the black parts you see here. That's FDM printing, which prints in layers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other parts on the side, like these little rotational knobs that are green.
Yeah.
1 second, actually.
I can see that.
I've got some extra here on the side that are even better to look at. Because I'm making several of these. I'm making one for a friend, and I'm making one to give away on my stream eventually.
Oh, nice.
So I'm making 3 of them. So this here is the little knob.
Okay.
And this was printed in resin. Here's another, like a joystick trigger.
Nice.
And I printed it in a green resin so I could put LEDs behind it and it'll really pop.
Okay.
Do I have a flashlight right here? Damn it, I don't. Usually if I have a flashlight, you could see it. It'd be really bright. But anyway, so resin is a different type of printing. And how resin printing works is instead of it laying down layers of plastic on top of each other,
mm-hmm.
you have a vat of resin, which it basically underneath the resin is like a cell phone screen, and the cell phone screen lights up at different intervals and different points. I'm trying to explain this the easiest way. Did you guys ever watch Small Soldiers growing up? Is that movie about the toys that came to life?
Maybe. Can't remember.
Anyway, in Small Soldiers, they actually did something like that. They did resin printing before it was widely available to the public. And it was just a huge vat of goo, and they had all these lasers go in it, and then a toy came out. It was like a solid toy. So with this, instead of lasers, it's like a light at the bottom, and then there's a metal plate that goes down into the goo, and then it gets to the bottom. The light turns on for a split second, and then the plate raises up. And as it does that, it cures, because the light lights up the resin, and it makes the resin hard in that one spot. So it cures the resin. Mm-hmm. So the resin is kind of like a light-based glue, kind of like they would use on like dental stuff, you know, when you get like a filling or maybe braces, they have to use a glue and they dry it with like a UV light, you know? Yeah. That's how it works. It's a weird technology. It's like several technologies put into one, but as it raises, it makes this object, and it's super, super cool. And that's called resin printing. So you've got FDM, which is traditional 3D printing, and then you've got resin printing. There's all sorts of other stuff coming out now too that's even crazier. But I love 3D printing. It's like one of my favorite hobbies. I could talk about it for hours.
I can
hours
see that.
And hours.
I think we have to make a second show about it.
Honestly, like I have so many random projects I've done over the years, and little things, just I'll have an idea, like the lights that are on my wall in my stream room. I'll send you a picture of my stream room.
Yes,
but
please.
I designed the lights, the mounts, not the lights themselves. So the mounts are custom designed, and I put them on the wall and then put them on there. So it's like anytime I need something, I could go look for it and download it, or I can make it myself. And as you get better with those skills, it's really nice to be able to do it.
It's getting easier and easier.
Do you want that picture right now, or do you want it after the stream?
No, after the stream. We actually have to get to an end, actually.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm getting sick of talking to you anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
But we can continue after. The question is for me, like, is there anything I missed or you want to talk about at the end, or you have a message for the chat or whoever is watching after that? Like, is anything on your heart which you say, like, this is something we should have talked about today, Also the chat, guys, if you have a final question for Mac, please just shoot, I think he's not shy.
Honestly, like, the one thing I'd like to say is, in the streaming industry, like if you're a streamer or a content creator, the only success you're ever going to find is if you don't give up. So like I say this to my wife all the time. I say, you believed in Santa Claus for 10 years, you can believe in yourself for 10 minutes. So basically, like, why is it so hard for us to believe in ourselves a little bit and give ourselves some faith when it's the things we're passionate about and want? You know what I mean? Like, I think we just don't like to fail. And failure is a dish we don't like to eat. You know what I mean? We don't like to taste it. We don't like to feel it. And every day you're not successful as a streamer feels like failure. But it's not. Okay? It's just a little bit of growth. That's the way you need to look at it. You need to look at it like practicing. Every day you get a little bit better at streaming and interacting, and get a little bit better at communicating with your crowd, and get a little bit better at creating content. It's not a failure when people aren't there. It's a failure when you give up on the things you want. So if you can learn one thing from this entire interview, is don't give up on yourself or the things you are dedicated to, because that failure will be the biggest one you can have. It's not because you're not succeeding right now that you're failing. Ninja, it took him 6-7 years to get famous streaming all the time. He didn't blow up until like a couple years ago. So, people all the time will stream or grind, or, actors, actresses, it's the same thing. They'll do interviews and auditions, and for years and years work on, very small wages, and then finally succeed. If you want something enough, just don't give up on it. That's the biggest thing. And I said it before, I'll say it again. You believed in Santa for 10 years, you can believe in yourself for 10 more minutes. Okay? Just do it. It like, anytime something's hard, that's what I try to remember. 10 more minutes of believing in myself, I can make this work. If something's broken, I can fix it. If something's hard, that 10 minutes usually gets me through it,
Did you teach that yourself, or did you have that from
I honestly may have been told that by someone years ago, like a family member or friend, and it just stuck with me. You know what I mean? And I try not to say it to kids because, they tend to still believe in Santa Claus. But, adults that are struggling, I say that to my friends or, brother, sister, parents, anybody. When will I stop shaving my head? Shoot, I didn't even shave and I look this bald, bro. I don't have to do anything anymore. It's come full circle. No, I honestly, I probably try and shave like every 3 weeks. And I don't think I will stop because I look more bald when I don't shave than I do when I do shave, which is weird.
I
don't understand.
My husband looks the same, so I guess.
It's like I look more bald when I have just a little bit of clown hair on the side than I do when I just trim it all. So
Silo wanted to know if you start streaming from zero now, which platform would you suggest?
Honestly, dude, I didn't even see that, and I'm sorry. I mean, I'm biased to Facebook a little bit. And with all the stuff going on with Twitch right now, it's not really the greatest place to start a stream. I think one thing to consider, though, is in this day and age of digital content is you limit yourself by only being on one platform, right? Bacon's one of my homies too.
Yes, Bacon. This was what he wanted to say. Believe in Santa, not in yourself.
I was actually saying it the other way around.
Oh, really?
No.
I missed that.
But no, I was saying it for Bacon's benefit.
Okay.
No, so I mean, really, you got to consider your own comfort and where you're likely to be, happy. So if you see Facebook as like the Antichrist, maybe streaming there isn't the best bet for you, but if you're willing to look past certain things about a platform and just give things a shot, you never know what your success will be like.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's streamers who will start after me and they'll blow up even bigger than me because algorithm is a weird mistress and it's hard to get it just right. And it's because there's no way to get it right. It's random.
Yeah.
You could get lucky.
Yeah,
the keywords you're using could trigger people and get a lot of people in. The one thing on Facebook that I love, or like on YouTube, is they have those tiles, on the pictures so you can kind of get like a little clickbait picture. So things like that make a lot of headway in what people will look and click on.
Well, I mean, the one thing is, anyways, if you want to be successful as a streamer, normally you can't focus on only one platform. Like if you're a Twitch streamer, you definitely need to put content out.
You'll need to social network. You'll need to stream and create content. Be working offline, networking.
Et cetera.
What I would recommend, though, just not to overwhelm yourself to get started, is look at the three main platforms, which is where you'll probably get going. Okay, what do you have to contend with at those three platforms right now? Okay, YouTube and Twitch, they're very saturated and large. Mm-hmm. And what that means is a new content creator on that site, you have a lot of competition. In addition to that, neither of those sites are actually a social network. They're just a streaming content site. You watch videos. There is some social aspect to YouTube. There's some social aspect to Twitch like we're talking now. But we talked about this earlier. Your videos that you make clips of, they don't grow.
Oh, fire. Thank you for the host. Thank you for the wait. So, welcome, everyone.
I think as a new streamer, a great platform, Facebook can be a great platform because you can grow offline and online. So you have the social networking aspects and the streaming aspects. You also got to take a look at what content you want to create. What game are you going to be playing? And I could ramble about this for ages, but really, man, you got to sit down with yourself, see what you're comfortable with, where you're going to feel best, and then give it a shot. But if it were me starting fresh now, where I have zero bias, if I was starting with zero bias, I'd probably stream everywhere. You know what I mean? The only reason I stick to Facebook like glue is because I'm partnered there, so I have more of an advantage. But even as a news content creator, like, are you trying to make money, or are you just trying to grow and get to know people? You just want to share your content? Do you just want to do it for fun? Those are things you got to ask yourself, and the platform you go to can make a lot of difference.
Yeah. Absolutely. It does.
Hey, thank you for that raid.
Yes, exactly. That's what I said in between. Thank you so much, guys. Welcome. Funny thing, we are actually about to end this here as well.
Right? They just came in right as we were leaving.
You just came in basically for the goodbye, guys. I have to say something for the end quick. Guys, if you don't know, we will have a charity event next weekend at the 29th, starting at 12 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. GMT, UK time. Guys, tune in. Save the date. We will have so much fun. By the way, Mac here supported us with game keys. We will have giveaways, most of the giveaways from him. we have Battlefield 5. What do we have? We have Emblems. We have Battlefield 5 Deluxe Editions. We have, what is this game called again? Help me, Mac.
I can't even remember what I gave you.
Mean Greens. We have so many codes for next week, guys. But anyways, what we have is also, we have crazy challenges. We will play Warzone. We have 4 streamers next weekend. And you guys can give them challenges, and they have to fulfill these challenges. So whatever you come up with idea, you can bring it in, and they have to do it. So I hope you guys can tune in. We will support next week a really nice cause. It is about preventing suicide. It's an institution in the US called AFSP. So if you want to be informed when we start, how we do it, maybe you just give us a follow here so you get the alert when we start and get online, and or you follow us on Twitter as well. Maybe Joe, can you just put in the Twitter out here again? Yeah, and other than that, I think we also like put Fire's link here and again, Joe. Give me a second, Joe. Joe, check your Discord again, please. Put in this message, please. And we will put, I think I can do it. I can. Fire, why is your name so complicated? Copy paste always works. So, no, it doesn't work. Perfect. Why doesn't it work? No worries.
Is it double underscores?
No, I don't know. Maybe
is it I underscore fire underscore I, or is it bracket?
I copy paste. Guys, click on his name. You see it here. Give him a follow. Thank you so much, Fire, for the wait, for all the support you did today. I hope you had a great stream. Tech, thank you. Member, thank you. Matza, thank you. Also, all the guys here from Mac, thank you so much for being here tonight, for joining us here on Twitch, even though you guys don't like it.
No, some of them are on Twitch. Yeah, I just think, it's just not their first home.
Okay, but thank you very much, really. Also, Prof Neon, thank you for stopping by. By the way, we will have a podcast with Neon here as well soon. So just stick around if you like. If you have anything you think we could improve or we could do better, also let us know. Oh, thank you so much for putting in the link. Thank you so much. So we are always, thank you, Salah. We are always very, very open here to make our job better, So just give us a quick heads up, a DM or whatever. You can also DM me if anything is on your mind, for guys. You need help, you need somebody to listen to, whatever it is. Just send me a DM. Mac, and you, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for sharing your story.
No problem. It was
I hope you
fun and emotional.
Yeah, fun and emotional, man. That was a roller coaster today. So we will go for the wait, guys. Have a beautiful night. By the way, we will join Vince's graphic now. It's a beautiful stream of a couple, and guys, they are so fun. Have a watch. It's a couple streaming. They're streaming Battlefield right now. Have a beautiful night. See you later, guys. Mac, don't run away.
Bye. No, I'm just kidding. No, I thought I heard my door open in my office.